the letter to the Galatians is distinctive from other letters for a variety of reasons. And I think it's important to honor each letter. I think sometimes what happens is we kind of recognize a major letter, and then if there's a shorter one with similarities, we go, oh, we've kind of covered that. So 1 Timothy, you know, lots of detail. Titus, well, it's like 1 Timothy, but shorter. And then Titus doesn't get airtime. It doesn't get focused on. And I think that happens with Galatians too. We honor Romans, of course. Romans is a great epistle. And then Galatians kind of covers the same ground. And so it sort of gets pushed aside. But what's distinctive about Galatians, as opposed to say, or not opposed to, but in contrast, say, to Romans, when Paul wrote to the Romans, he knew what was going on there. He was addressing specific situations, but it wasn't a church he'd planted. It wasn't a church, a group of people that he was passionately concerned about in the same way. With Galatians, his passion for them comes through from the start. And so in 1:6, where he's supposed to say, if he's following the rules of letter writing, he's supposed to say, I thank God every time I think of you. But in Galatians, he doesn't. He says, I'm astonished that you're so quickly deserting him. And that tone carries on all the way through, so that we then get at the other end of the argument, if you like, the end of the core of the letter, the strongest thing Paul says in any of his letters, talking about these people that were encouraging circumcision and encouraging the law keeping. He says something that even the translators soften for us, and they end up saying something like, I wish they would emasculate themselves. But for Paul, that was a very strong statement, where he is so frustrated with the false teachers that he just wishes they would finish the job on themselves. You know, it's just a nasty, nasty statement, but not wrong, because they were doing so much harm. And so his heart is coming through with that passion and anger at times. And so I think that puts Galatians in a position of its own. It's preaching the same gospel as every other letter, but there's a passion to it and a concern and really a warning that a little bit of corruption can do an incredible amount of damage.